Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who is performing at a festival that I absolutely love. Like one of my favorite, as you, my listeners, know, I go to festivals all over the world, and this one's one of my favorites. And so, man, I'm sorry I'm going to miss it, though, because my daughter's getting married. But you guys need to go to Bloodstock, and you need to see this band right here. So let's welcome to the show, DeathCollector. How are you?
We are doing well. We are doing well.
I think the real reason I'm not going is because I don't know if I'm ready for death yet. So I'm staying away.
Yeah, we're not currently taking collections, so you're okay.
Oh, okay, good. I feel like maybe
fine,
it's like, you know, going to Bloodstock would be like being in church and they're passing the plate around, except they're collecting your souls.
Yeah, it's like a chalice, like full of just like individual souls, you know, and everyone just has one, you know.
Yeah, there you go. So, tell us how this road to Bloodstock started.
Ooh. I mean, well, Mick, actually, you can. How did DeathCollector start?
How did DeathCollector start, or how did we end up playing at Bloodstock? Which is the question.
You could do either one. Mine was how you were getting the Bloodstock, but you can tell them anything you want.
Okay, Bloodstock, we were invited to play. So we were asked if we wanted a slot in the Sophie stage. So we said, yeah, go for it, nothing to lose. Do you mean it's great to play at Bloodstock? Insane lineup every year.
Yeah.
I mean, like this year, like you've got like Deicide, you've got Carcass, you've got Sadis. Tons of bands that I would have grown up listening to, like, that are playing at it, like, as well. So I'm really looking forward to it this year, like, and I'm delighted, like, that we were asked to play it, especially on the Sophie stage as well, the second stage. Do you know, like, so it's a great spot. There's always a good turnout as well, like, so really, really, really looking forward to this.
I love that stage and the concept of it too. You know?
Oh yeah,
because not many, I've been talking a lot about this because not many people outside the UK are aware of what Bloodstock does and what that Sophie Lancaster stage means. And, you know, it's terrible what happened, and it's amazing what Bloodstock does to support it and keep that alive because, you know, metalheads, punks, goths, whoever we are, you know what? We're just people, and, you know, we go through a lot of crap, and it's really unfortunate what happened to Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend, and going home from a gig, and just because you're a goth, you get beat to death. Like, and I just don't know what's wrong with the world. That is the reason that would happen. But I love the fact that Bloodstock makes so much awareness to it, has a stage dedicated to it, and now you guys are playing on that stage, and that's
it's no small thing. It's also as well because Sophie Lancaster's mother passed away recently, like a few years ago. So like, you know, so in a way, like, that stage will keep that memory going. I don't think they're ever going to change the name of it. I don't think they ever could. But it's not of like Sophie Lancaster's wasn't a unique experience. It happens to alternative people from school all the way through to adulthood. Even now, I still get shouted at by, you know, not like normal people just shouting goth at you, and it's just like,
right.
But if it wasn't for places like Bloodstock spreading that awareness, it wouldn't have reached places like you in America. It wouldn't have reached another place around the world. And that's solidarity. We all feel it, like, you know, no one should ever have that done to them for no reason, like no good reason, no actual ethical or moral reason to do that anyway. But you know, it's one of those things that unites most people who are on this subsect of the like outside culture, subcultures. You know, it is what it is. But Bloodstock will give their credit, like that. If it wasn't for them spreading the awareness that they are, I do think it would get forgotten about, and it would be a thing that is spoken about only through people like us. You know? Exactly,
and people that know or living in the area, and you know, we all have probably dealt with it at some point or another.
Oh yeah,
I unfortunately dealt with it with cops when I was a teenager. You know,
that's classic, that isn't it?
Right, like, and they're the ones that are supposed to be setting the example. So, I think we ourselves set the example, and that's what's great about Bloodstock and bands like you.
Absolutely.
So tell the listeners who have never heard your music before how you guys would describe your music, not by a genre, because I hate that crap of like boxing an artist into you can only play this music, you know, because I think artists, they have their own idea what their music is, and that's what I want to hear. Yeah,
like as Mick said before, like to me, like we're kind of an attitude. Like we are a old school kind of feel in regards of raw, unadulterated, straight to the point, like in your face. Like this is the music, this is what we're doing, this is our message. No bells and whistles. It's purely raw, unadulterated, and heaviness. We get coined into old school death metal because we have a lot of signatures that are considered to be that. But even then, that's purely just for people's like familiarity. Like, oh, I like that. But personally, we're diverse though. We can do all sorts.
Yeah, personally, I hate the term old school death metal. Do you mean? Death metal is death metal. That's it. It's just so happens we're old guys playing it, so it's the real deal. Do you know?
Yeah. As an old school metalhead, I agree with you, because it's like we as old school people, the new death metal people are like, oh, well, that wasn't really death metal. We're death metal now. And it's like, okay. I think it's all metal to me.
Yeah. I come from the school of like my introduction to death metal would have been, you know, like the compilation albums, you know, like Roadrunner would have released, you know, like a Death's Door. That would have had like Sadus on it, Deicide, Obituary, who else? Exorder would have been on it, and like it's called a Death's Door. So my assumption is like an 11 or 12-year-old at the time was thinking, oh, this is what death metal sounds like. Do you know? So anything that basically had a Road Racer logo, I just bought it and thought it was death metal, even though like it's
nice.
It could be trash. It's faster, like the likes of Exorder, but like they had hatred and anger and attitude in their lyrics and in the music, which aligns with death metal anyway. So it's all about the attitude more than anything else. Like I think death metal kind of devolved into like gymnastics, like going who can shred as fast as they can, who can blast as fast as they can. Do you know, at the end of the day, it's about writing catchy riffs that people can get behind. Do you know what I mean? You hear a song that's like 3 or 4 minutes long, and that's it.
I mean, like Death, perfect example. He didn't write ridiculously complex things. He wrote what kind of sounded good to him, and then everyone went, let's do that but more.
Right.
I think that kind of technicality that like Death specifically nailed was perfect, and then after that it does get a little bit like the fastest competition, the noodliest competition. And it loses a bit of soul, you know. It's a bit like, all right,
I laugh too, because I remember me and my friends in the 80s like going, the faster the better, everything is fast. And then it's funny, me and my best bro who passed away in September, we were driving up to a festival a couple years ago, and we were listening to some of our old school bands, and he turns to me, he's like, I don't know, I remember this being faster. One of them we were listening to was Venom. And, and he's like, I remember this being faster. I'm like, yeah, because then it was the fastest. You know, but here, let me play something for you now. But
that's true.
My first introduction to death metal was you guys are going to love this. Was the first ever crossover show where punks and metalheads could be in the same room. Like, because I was a metalhead. I had long hair. I couldn't go to punk shows. I got my ass beat, vice versa. So this was the first one. It was at this place called the Sun Valley Sportsman's Lodge. It was like an Elks Lodge, okay?
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, and so on the punk side, it was COC pre-Pepper.
Cool.
It was Suicidal pre-Crossover.
Yes.
Nice.
And it was the Descendants.
Okay.
And then on the metal side was this band Savage Grace, who just came out with a new album after like 40 years.
Yeah. Is that the band with the cop on the cover, is this?
It's the band. Actually, I have the album right near me. They had this, I think the one with that on the cover, I'm thinking of Sodom when I think of that.
Okay.
But this band had like their first album was a Dominatrix, so they had a Dominatrix on the cover, a hot metal chick, and they toured with Motorhead and stuff like that. And then there was also Dark Angel.
Yes. Yep.
And wait for it, this was my introduction to death metal, Possessed.
Oh yes, yes.
Cool. Yeah.
And
Shout out to
after
Jeff.
that was in LA. And Possessed and Dark Angel were both from the Bay Area. And then, I was at the first Slayer show ever, the first Metallica show ever, and they left LA and went to the Bay Area. So after that show, me and my bro used to hitchhike up to the Bay Area from LA and go to Possessed shows because we were like, oh my God, this is the fastest, heaviest, loudest, most evil music there is.
First time it was, nothing was really quite compared to it.
No.
That Seven Churches album is absolutely super influential. If you ask me, it's the first death metal album. I know people say Scream Bloody Gore. I'd say Seven Churches.
And we believe that was the first death metal album then, for sure. And they weren't caring about the technicality so much. It was, again, like you said, how fast, how great the riffs. Like the song The Exorcist, the riffs in that, it is just like, to me, one of the best riffs ever in any song ever.
Yeah.
So tell us what we can expect from a live show from DeathCollector at Bloodstock or anywhere else.
Lee?
Kieran?
All right, fine. I try to include you, man. I'm like, talk. No, but it's okay. Yeah. All right. So from a live experience, it's going to be genuine is the word I'll use. That'll cover it all. Is that
I love that.
We're going to go up there with no pretense, no over the top, like anal precision and over professionalism. We're going to do our jobs. We're going to play the music we love, and we're going to do our best performance. But we're not going to be focusing so much on ourselves in that regard. We're going to be looking at the audience, trying to get them moving. And it's all about that kind of energy and attitude. And we want to be infectious on stage. I want everyone to be having such a good time with us because I know I'll be. I know these guys are going to be. It's going to be a great show. I'm so excited.
That's what live music's all about, right there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Too many bands get too caught up in their own ego on stage. It's ridiculous. Something goes wrong and they're having hissy fits, and it's like it's not perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that's life.
We talk about that back in the media, in the press tent, because, we see what goes on, we hear what goes on, and it's like a private thing we talk about, not a public thing. But there's certain bands, you can just tell they're getting up there, they're just going through the motions. They don't even like each other, and then there's those other bands that just get up and they're just being real, like you said, genuine, but having fun.
Yeah.
And feeding off the crowd, because that's what it's about. It's like you as the artist up there, you have that crowd to feed off of. That was one of those things during the pandemic that I was like, man, how are bands doing these live stream concerts? Because I don't know if I could do that so well. It's just more like a practice instead of a live show.
It feels like that, to be honest with you. Like, I did a few live stream gigs throughout the pandemic with my band Zellocult and another band I used to be in called Brigantia. They were doom bands. But the way that these live streams were set up, there was 3 bands playing on the bill, so we still had each other to kind of hang out with, or whatever,
Right.
like have our own kind of party going on, and we'd play anyway. And the people that were recording it, they were like, you could see the screen, you could see all the comments coming up in it, as bands were playing. And there was like donations being taken, like there were the money, any proceeds that was raised was like donated to local charities and things like that. So it was for
that stuff was cool.
Yeah. So, and it was good to see like guys that who work in that industry, who were completely shut down for 2 years, that had nothing to do. They're able to get back into an environment where they could set up like lighting rigs, camera rigs, guys that were involved in, say, like front of house doing the audio as well. Like they were back doing what they loved, so it was good. It was a necessary evil at the time. Like I can understand why a lot of bands won't do it either, like because they're not getting the interaction from an audience,
Yeah.
But there was like people there that were working on it, so we could see their expressions, knowing their interaction.
See, that's cool. That's cool to hear that, because at least you have somebody. Because if you were playing to nobody, you're pros, you're going to do it, but it's not the same. For you, it's not the same.
Yeah. There were some really good live performances that I saw. I think it was at Trivium did some really good ones. And some other bands did some like really high quality ones.
Yeah, Obituary did like the whole
did,
lot of
didn't they?
they did Cause of Death.
Yeah, which is really cool. And it was also the first time those bands actually got a time to rest for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
So funny you say that, because that was something else I was going to talk about here, and I've talked about a lot. Okay, so you guys are basically a lockdown project that sprang into being a band.
Yep.
And that goes along with what I've been saying all along, is if you were to take one positive out of that lockdown, is that bands and musicians that were on this hamster wheel for so long, where you don't even have a chance to think of if you even want to be doing it the way you're doing it, because like gig to gig to gig, write an album on the tour bus to the gig, and like all the creativity and the fun is kind of gone. That I think the lockdown caused artists to be able to reanalyze how they wanted their music career to be, what they want it to be, and get creative again, get that creative spark that got them into music to begin with.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
1000%.
For us, it was just a why not kind of moment. We were like, well, we've got these tracks, might as well do it. And we're like, yeah, go on then. Like,
that's how DeathCollector came to be in the first place. Anyway, it was out of boredom during lockdown.
Yeah.
I'd met Andy before the pandemic. We'd done a couple of gigs with Memoriam while he was still with Memoriam, and I kept in touch with Andy then afterwards. And then the pandemic happened, and I seen Andy had a post on Facebook saying like he was thinking of doing like these kind of online covers. If anyone was interested, to hit him up. So I shot him a message. I said, hey man, if you want someone to play guitar, I'd be more than happy to do it. Like, so he came back to me then. He goes, okay. He goes, it's the 30-year anniversary Bowl Thrower War Master. He goes, I want to do a song from that. Straight away, I'm like going, okay, I'm getting to play a Bowl Thrower song with the drummer from Bowl Thrower. No pressure. But yeah, so it came together that way. We did a couple of other covers then. Like we had other musicians in on it as well, like that played on different songs. Like we had Jason from Agalach. Like he played keys on a battery tune, and he played bass on an Entombed cover that we did around the time when LG Petrov had passed. And we had Dave Ingram from Benediction doing vocals on a track. Steve Maher from Abaddon Incarnate doing vocals on another track. And then Gord from Darkened, he did vocals on the Bowl Thrower cover. So I was getting totally behind, looking at doing other covers. So I was kind of thinking to myself, what will we do next? Might do a song from maybe Autopsy, Severed Survival, or maybe something from Death, Scream, Bloody Gore or something. So I said it to Andy. I was like, how would you feel about doing another cover? And he goes, the covers are fun and all that. He goes, how would you feel about doing original music? It's like, sure. I was like, why not? Let's try it.
Why not? So,
so we wrote the 3 songs that were on the Time's Up EP, and we were continuing to work on other stuff as well at the same time. So Kieran and Lee then came on board, like after myself and Andy had the songs written, and then we decided to record them then and release them. And then it just fucking grew legs then after that and took off, like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes right along with what I'm saying. It's like I've said all along that some of the best music ever, we look forward 20, 30 years, will come out of that lockdown. You know, the lockdown itself sucked. But if you're going to look at what good came out of it, and here's an example, like if it weren't for that lockdown, would DeathCollector be playing at Bloodstock?
No, don't think so.
It probably wouldn't exist at all.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So that's badass in and of itself. So how do we tell people how to reach out to you guys on socials, check out your merch, check out your tour dates, music, all that good stuff?
Right, so the first place you can always find us on is just go to our Bandcamp, because a lot of it's all our merch is done from there. But social-wise, our link tree is attached to every single platform we're on. So be it X or Twitter, as you can call it, Facebook or Instagram, our link tree is there, which will have all like the things that we've got coming up and whatever else would be on there as well. And also our EPK is on there as well, if anyone's watching.
Nice. And I think we should make a movement to change the name of Twitter again. Let's just call it X Twitter.
Yeah,
That's what they should call it, X Twitter.
Twixer.
I saw you guys have a TikTok.
Yeah, I run that.
So tell me either the craziest or most fun TikTok that you've done.
That I've done personally, or the band's one?
The band, and you can talk about personally too.
The band's one is quite straightforward. It's just this gig, that live show. TikTok itself, the craziest thing that I've done was, so many things. I was screaming like a vampire in one of them. I was running through the house, and then the sunlight hits me, and I died.
Nice.
I do like little funny little clips, videos, like dumb stuff. I do like some like news following things as well. So I did like a post about Gojira, and it got like hundreds of thousands of views. And I've gone viral a few times on TikTok now, so I've got about 14,000 followers. Check me out.
Nice.
But it's really cool for that kind of stuff. But it's the stuff that I've done on it, I think that's probably the wildest one. Oh no, I did a live stream. So you put yourself live. Never done it before. My ego loved it. So I'm just there like doing this live stream. It's all funny and that. And I got bombarded by Christians. Like literally like,
wow,
Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Praise him, Jesus. You can be saved. You can be saved. And I'm there like, I started speaking in like tongues, right? But I was growling. So I'm there like, and they were just like, they're like, Jesus saves. They're like literally like spamming the chat like somehow that's going to do anything. I couldn't help it. I felt a bit bad. I was like, I probably scared the living shit out.
Oh, that's the funniest shit ever. That reminds me about.
I was doing like that's above, so below. Just like that.
Should have started quoting lines from The Exorcist, Kieran.
I know, right?
I was saying like pig Latin-y stuff as well. Like, is there more than Markia? And it's like, mate. I suppose I didn't get banned.
I love it. And you know what's funny about that? There's two things that made me laugh about that. One is I was just talking about on my live show last week how to get rid of Jehovah's Witnesses that come to your house. And the first time I was effective, I was a teenager. I had Slayer playing through my guitar amplifier in the background when they knocked on my door, and I was wearing Ozzy Diary of a Madman shirt. And I just said to them, very straight face, I'm like, sorry, I'm a devil worshiper. And they ran so fast and never came back.
Yeah, I had a similar experience as well when I was about 13 or 14. They came knocking at the door, and I had like the first Deicide album blasting out of the living room, and I answered the door wearing Feast the Beast shirt, the one that says to kill God and all of his holy. Yeah.
I think the song that was playing when they hit the door was I Am the Antichrist. It was like, I am the Antichrist, all love is lost.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, man, it was like, it couldn't have been planned more perfectly. But then I also wanted to talk, which is good and funny, tomorrow on my live show, I'm going to be talking about Gojira because of that fucking insane performance at the Olympics. Like, first of all, when I heard they were playing the Olympics, I'm like, oh my God, maybe this year Jethro Tull won't win a medal award.
Yeah.
And
it was awesome.
Oh my God, it was so awesome. But what I think so funny is all these idiot Illuminati people that think that Gojira playing at the Olympics is another sign that the Illuminati is taking over, and the whole thing, I'm sure you've seen all over the net, the satanic Olympics. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe it was, I literally said this to people on social media. I was messing with people that were doing it. I'm like, maybe it's just because they're a French band playing in France.
Whoa.
Exactly. Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah. Gojira are the most unsatanic band I've ever heard. Like,
exactly.
all their lyrics are about whales and saving the planet and and pollution. So it's like, what?
That's what I love about people that think they know metal, especially when it comes to a band like Gojira or a band like you guys, where they don't even know what the words are.
Yeah,
they just hear.
I barely do.
It must be Satan. Satan is what gives you that voice.
Maybe I am real.
If they wanted a satanic French band to play it, they could have asked Death Spell Omega or something like that.
Right?
You know? Yeah.
And did you see they changed it? Those idiot people changed the Olympics logo to say 666 and saying that's what was put up on the screen while Gojira was playing.
Yeah. Find what you look for in the world. That's what I've noticed.
I'm telling you, well, even like the old days, remember backward masking? Okay, like you were told what it said, so then you would listen and like, oh yeah, that is what it's saying. It's probably just saying blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's because people just hear what they want to hear. Like I always say, like you project out what's inside you, but if you keep seeing evil everywhere, maybe it's because you're afraid of your own evil. I've always said that.
I love that. That's a great
concept.
I
mean, because understand, like, so the things that you like think are bad or negative, they come from a base understanding of you. You are the perspective of that understanding of what's bad or good. Your morality is created from your experiences, etc. So when they say things are evil and the bad, like homosexuality and things like that, that's probably because they have feelings themselves.
Well, let's be real. Most homophobes are the ones that really are hiding.
Yeah, and now take that exact logic and take it to everything else that they also complain about, and now you're like,
that's so true. I love it.
Yeah, but that's psychology. That's for you.
So is there anything else we want to tell the listeners about what you have coming up or anything about your music before we go that we haven't covered already?
So Bloodstock is going to be a very, very special gig due to the fact like that Andy is retiring. So he's hanging up the sticks. That's it. So we're going to send him out with a blast anyway. Like, you know, yeah, sad to see him go. Like, you know what I mean? So great mate, great friend. You know, really enjoy playing music with him. Really looking forward to playing Bloodstock with him and hanging out with him that weekend. Then, like, you know, yeah. So
yeah, it's gonna be ace. But like, I don't think he's. I know he's stopped playing live. So he might still do little things at home. But yeah, like when it comes to live, I think that's it now. He's done. Which is, to be fair, he's earned it. He's earned a rest. You know,
absolutely. Like
60 years old. He's been drumming for 40+ years. I mean. Like, I can't imagine like how the kind of like relief and pride he has. Like, at least he's done something and then gone, right, I'm done now.
Totally. And that's to do that for 60 years. That's a lot of work and a lot on your body for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure is. Yeah. Especially playing drums like at that level, at that extreme. Do you mean at that age?
Like his footwork
I can't even imagine most people 60 being able to drum like that.
Yeah, literally. Like I saw, do you remember Anvil? Like you went. I saw them on one of their tours, and they're like, you know, in their mid-60s and upwards. And the drummer, he's like renowned, like for being such a good drummer as well. And he's there playing like that, and I thought he's got 100 dates. 100 dates. I was like, how? They're built different sterner stuff, my friend. That generation are built different.
I'm from that generation, so like my youngest daughter, sometimes I'll bring her to festivals with me because I go on tour and do like a festival every weekend, and now they're even longer post-COVID. It's like every festival is now 4 or 5 days instead of 2 or 3 days.
That's it, yeah.
And my daughter will be after a half a day. She's like, "Dad, I don't know how you do this every weekend. I'm done." And I say to her, I don't know how I don't. You know, it is something that's just built in you.
Yeah.
Is basically what it comes down to. And that's true of being a musician. It's something that's built in you, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
especially when you play the type of music you do, because you're not doing it to become a rock star. You're doing it because the music's built in you.
Yeah, like if we wanted to get famous, we'd play all the kind of bands that are more likely to get famous and known and all that reputation. You know, we're doing this because we like music, but fundamentally, it's like the best part of it is playing music with people you actually like.
Yes,
that really helps.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Key.
It's the best feeling, man.
It's all down to fun at the end of the day. It's all about having fun with the people that you're playing music with. Do you mean that you all have that we all have a common vision? Do you know what I mean? To write good songs, have fun playing with them, have fun playing gigs, talk to people, meet people. It's certainly not about playing money. It's certainly about not making money anyway. It definitely isn't. Like, do you mean? Yeah.
And I say nowadays, especially more than ever, if you're not having fun in this business, this is the wrong business, because everything else is not fun.
Yeah, like playing festivals is the peak fun, right, for a band. Like, it's just mad. It's just crazy.
It's cool too, because it's one of the few times you guys get to see bands you want to see because they happen to be at the festival, and you wouldn't be on tour with them or anything like that. Like, you get to see bands you probably would never tour with.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, very true.
And so now with you saying that, now there's 3 times you've gotten me depressed during this interview. In the beginning, it's because I'm missing Deicide and Carcass. And now it's because I'm missing this like iconic set that you guys are going to do, never to be repeated. And it's
unfortunately, but it will be filmed. Bloodstock. It's going to be filmed, so you can watch the whole thing like in full. So that's something. Feel a little better now.
Only at Bloodstock. I think that ranks right up there with a couple of years ago when Machine Head played as the surprise band in the tent.
Yeah.
So you're right up there with that. That's your set this year.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for giving us great music. Thanks for playing at Bloodstock, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
That was good. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, really appreciate it. It was great to talk to you, Ben. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.